You slapped a neon sticker on my windshield that says overnight street parking, commercial markings, tow at owner's expense, because my work van slept at the curb while my garage was full of moving boxes. And now the neighborhood thread reads like I turned Maple Court into a dealership? Let's take a breath. I'm Officer Lane. I'm here because the HOA logged 3 calls in a week. Your branded van parked on the street past midnight 3 nights in a row. The right rear bumper hung 2 inches into the curb ramp next to the community mailbox cluster on Tuesday morning. And a neighbor reported the dash cam's blue status light facing her nursery window. I'm not here to bury you in tickets or shame a tradesperson for having a van. I'm here to keep this calm and walk you through what your rules actually say about overnight street parking, commercial markings, driveway fits, limited passes, and simple ways to park without waking up to a tow or a thread. Calm would have been a message that says, pull onto your slab, don't cover the curb ramp, turn off the camera light, and ask for a temporary overnight pass if boxes have your garage hostage. Not a fluorescent warning that makes me wonder if my tools will be gone by sunrise. The sticker came because 3 specifics stacked. And I'm going to say them plain so nobody spins them. First, your HOA restricts overnight street parking between midnight and 6 a.m. without a temporary pass. Second, vehicles with commercial logos or exterior racks can't live at the curb overnight when they fit the driveway. Third, nothing can block or even lean into the ramp in front of the mailbox cluster. Carriers need clear curb cuts to pull up, step down, and access parcel lockers. And fourth, cameras or status lights pointing at neighbor windows spook people even when they're legal. None of this bans you from owning a van. It says the van sleeps on your property or under a temporary pass, the ramp stays clear, and the little blue eye stops blinking toward a crib. I hauled the van out front because my move-in swallowed the garage. The driveway fits my sedan and the van if we Tetris it, but the van's nose hangs over the sidewalk unless I squeeze the boxes. I figured 1 week at the curb beats rearranging 300 pounds of winter clothes at midnight. 1 week at the curb is exactly when the tow rumors start. The quickest path to sleep is this. We make space on your slab so the van sits fully on your property line. We ask the manager for a short overnight pass for the 2 nights you truly can't fit it. We tuck or cover the rack and keep the logos quiet during those nights if the CC&Rs care about commercial look. And we triple-check that the rear bumper stays away from any ramp, hydrant, or cluster. Tonight we can solve 90% of it with tape, a dolly, and a smart parking angle. My neighbor is walking over, the one who posted dealership row on the app with 3 exclamation points. Please don't turn this into a group trial on my curb. 20 seconds, then we move boxes. Please. Short update. The van will not sleep on the street tonight. We're clearing 4 feet of garage depth, so the bumper and the ladder rack sit behind your sidewalk line. We'll angle the van on the slab if we need a few extra inches without touching grass. We'll request a 2-night temporary pass as a backup while you finish the move-in. And we'll switch the dash cam light off or cover it so it doesn't blink at windows. Nothing touches the cluster ramp again. If you ever see the van at the curb after midnight without a pass, text me and I'll move it that minute. That's exactly what I wanted yesterday. I don't care if he owns a van. I care that the stroller ramp wasn't blocked and the blue wink didn't make my baby twitch. Understood. I'm not mad at rules that keep the ramp clear. I am mad that the sticker read like a tow truck was circling. Teach me the line between allowed for a move and call the hook. Think of it in 3 lanes. Lane 1, driveway first. If your vehicle fits your slab without blocking the sidewalk, that's home base. Lane 2, temporary overnight pass. Limited nights with a plate on file, used when the driveway is genuinely blocked by a move, repair, or guest spillover, with a clear curb free of ramps and hydrants. Lane 3, no-go. No overnight street parking with commercial markings or external racks if the driveway can take it. No overhanging a sidewalk with any bumper, and absolutely no nose or tail in front of the cluster ramp or hydrant at any hour. You lived in Lane 3 for 3 nights. We walk you back to Lanes 1 and 2. I can hear my dad saying just back it up on the lawn. I'm guessing that's also a no. Correct. Grass parking tears the strip, wrecks irrigation, and turns into mud when it rains. Slab or pass. The good news is your slab is closer than you think. 4 feet of garage depth buys you compliance. 4 feet feels cute when I'm staring at a wall of boxes, which is why we choose smart boxes. Heaviest at the back, tallest to the wall, and anything you don't touch in the next 7 days goes onto a shelf, not the floor. You have 2 bikes, a mower, and 3 bins you'll never open before November. We hang bikes on the sidewall, push the mower to the far corner behind a foam bumper, and stack bins on a cheap rack. That wins you the nose clearance and keeps the sidewalk passable. About that blue blink on the dash. The van's camera is hardwired. I didn't realize the status light is visible at night. Status light's red like an eye. People imagine surveillance even if the lens sees only your hood. You flip it to stealth in the app if the unit supports it. If not, a tiny square of dark tape stops the glow. You keep the lens pointed down the hood, never at the street, and you write a sentence for the portal. Front camera status light off at night. Lens aimed to hood, not neighbors. That single line calms more people than you think. Commercial logos. The van is wrapped. The rules say no advertising. Am I supposed to peel the wrap? You're not peeling a career off your van. The rule targets overnight street staging that reads like a rolling billboard. On your driveway, the logo is fine. The CC&Rs care about storage on the curb. For the 2 pass nights, you can throw a neutral magnetic cover over the loudest panels or park logo toward your garage if curb parking is truly necessary for a short, permitted window. After move-in, no more curb sleeps. My neighbor flagged the ladder rack as unsafe looking. It doesn't stick past the bumper, but I get the aesthetic thing. Racks are legal. They just raise hackles when they hover over a sidewalk. Park with the rack back from the line so no one worries about catching a forearm. If you stage ladders in daylight to reorganize, you keep them on your slab, not the sidewalk. And you lay them flat with a cone so a runner doesn't catch a rung. At night, nothing on the rack extends past the bumper line. Let's cut the paint and talk inches. How far from the sidewalk do I keep every piece of the van? You keep the bumper behind the inside edge of your sidewalk. If your sidewalk is poured inside your lot, you still treat the walk surface as sacred. No overhang. The easiest check is to drop a chalk line on the slab at the point where your bumper must stop. Back to that line, stop, check mirrors. If a mirror crosses the imaginary plane of the walk, you're too far forward. Can I angle the van, nose toward the garage corner, to buy space? You can as long as tires stay on the slab and you don't chew landscape. Angle parking is a smart move on short driveways. Nose to right front corner buys an inch or 2 and keeps the rear in. Just keep it neat so it reads intentional, not skewed scramble. My neighbor says the HOA bans all street parking ever. Is that true? It bans overnight street parking without a pass and habitual curb storage. Daytime street parking for loading, short jobs, or normal errands is allowed as long as you're not blocking mailboxes, hydrants, or sightlines at corners. The red paint and ramps are the law. Our overlay is overnight with pass or driveway. I feel less hunted. What about guests? When my in-laws visit, their crossover plus my sedan and the van fills the slab. That's what the temporary pass is for. You request it the morning a guest arrives, you list their plate, you make sure they park on a long frontage that doesn't kiss a curb ramp or hydrant, and you make it 1 or 2 nights, not 5. If your community has guest lots, use them. If not, park your sedan on the curb during the day and slide the guest car onto your slab at night while the van sleeps on the slab every night. The pass is the relief valve, not the lifestyle. My neighbor's stroller barely taps the curb ramp. Tuesday is our package day. I did not think a bumper hanging 2 inches over the flare would matter. 2 inches is the difference between a wheel rolling and a toe catching. Carriers have to step off with a load. They cannot shimmy around a bumper. We enforce 5 feet of approach and the full ramp clear at all times. If you're anywhere near the ramp, you're too close. The tow truck threat, was that real? Tow happens when a car repeatedly violates overnight rules, sits on red paint, blocks fire, or ignores notices. You got a warning because you're new and because fixes are obvious. Tonight we fix them. Tow is not a surprise because we document and past nights are logged. You don't want to dance with that. You won't. Teach me the pass process so I don't guess and get burned. You log into the portal. Click Overnight Pass. Enter your plate, the date, and the reason, garage blocked for move-in, and you get a digital permit tied to your address. It's visible to patrol. It's not a magic shield. Hydrants and ramps still apply. The system caps passes each month, so the street doesn't turn into long-term storage. Use them like salt, sparingly and on purpose. What if the system denies it because the monthly cap is done and my garage is still a maze? Then you make space on the slab, or you park the van at your shop or a public lot that allows overnight with your company's arrangement. The HOA isn't your yard overflow. But again, tonight, moving 4 feet of boxes wins you a spot. Without a pass. My neighbor is giving me a look that says, he'll do this for one night and then we'll be back. Here next week. Can we give her a line she can screenshot so the block breathes? Try this. The van sleeps on our driveway, not the curb. We cleared space so it sits behind the sidewalk line every night. If you ever see it near the cluster ramp or at the curb after midnight without a pass, text me, I'll move it. That sentence does more than a policy quote. Deal. Also, the company requires the dash cam to run when the van is parked for insurance. But I can kill the status LED. Do that. And angle it down. The law lets you record your own property, but courtesy says, don't film sleeping babies. A hood only. View is enough to catch a bump without catching your neighbor's living room. My brother says to throw a car cover on and call it a day. Covers on the street read abandoned. Some HOAs ban covered curb cars because they hide plates. On your slab, a discreet cover is fine if it's anchored and not a sail in high wind. But you won't need it to solve tonight. Okay, show me how to win 4 feet in 30 minutes. Bikes onto hooks. Mower rolls behind the shelf. Winter bins stack tallest to shortest, labels outward. Put a strip of painter's tape on the floor where the front tires stop. When the tire touches the tape, you stop. No creeping over. You'll still open the van door. You'll still walk around with a tool bag. And the stroller ramp out front will be wide open. We carry 2 bins, slide a shelf, hang a bike, twist the mower 90 degrees, click a hook into a stud, stack winter coats over the top bar. Move 3 boxes of kitchenware to the pantry corner, push a treadmill 7 inches back. The garage exhales space you couldn't see at noon. Pull the van in slowly. Mirrors, tape, stop. Now step to the sidewalk and look across. Your bumper is fully behind the walk. The ladder rack sits inside your line. The sidewalk is clear. The cluster ramp has daylight, and your status light is dark. This is the picture that quiets a thread. My neighbor is peeking from the mailbox cluster. Let her see the angle. She sees it, and she just waved instead of glaring. That's the posture we want. 2 logistical questions. First, does the HOA care that my van is taller than a sedan? It's not a Sprinter, but it's no coupe. Height doesn't matter nearly as much as location. On your slab, behind your walk, height and logos are aesthetic debates no one fires up when you're neat. On the curb at 12:30 a.m., height looks like a wall to anyone trying to pull by. Keep it on the slab and keep it tidy. We never argue height. Second, can I run an extension cord to top off a battery pack in the van if the cord stays on my slab? On your slab with a proper outdoor rated cord and no crossing of any walk, fine. Never across the sidewalk. Keep cords out of puddles. Don't pinch them with the garage door and coil them when done. If it becomes regular, install a proper GFCI outlet where you need it. My neighbor says I don't want to live next to a job site. I don't either. I want to sleep and fix houses during the day. Then you both want the same 3 things: clean lines, quiet nights, and ramps people can roll. That's all this is. I can live with that. What do you want uploaded tonight so the sticker drops from threat to note closed? A photo from the sidewalk showing the van parked with the bumper behind the interior edge of the walk. A daylight shot of the cleared garage depth with the tape line visible. A screenshot of your camera app showing status LED off or a picture of the taped lens. And if you still need one night at the curb while you finish, a screenshot of your temporary pass with a note that you'll park on a long, non-cluster frontage and set an alarm to move by 6 a.m. You caption the uploads with 1 sentence. Van sleeps on slab behind sidewalk line. No curb parking without pass. Cluster ramp stays clear. When I see those, I mark in progress. No fines now and resolved compliant after a week with no overnight curb sightings. What about holiday gatherings? Everyone overflows, and someone always lands by the cluster. On holidays, passes still exist, and the ramp is still holy. Put your address pin and park along Oak, not by the mailboxes in your text to the group before they leave. Stage a folding cone by the ramp if chaos erupts. You remove it when the rush ends. It's not official signage. It's a polite hint. The real move is swapping cars at 10, your sedan to the curb, guest car to your slab. Van stays home base. Edge cases. I come home at 11:45 with a van full of tools and the in-law car already on my slab. Do I risk the curb for 15 minutes while I unload? Unloading briefly before midnight is different than sleeping there. Hazard lights on, curb well away from ramps and hydrants, unload quick, and if the clock slides past 12, you move the van. Don't let 15 minutes become a gamble you lose by thread. Even better, text your in-law, swap spots for 5, and slide the puzzle pieces. Little swaps beat big warnings? My neighbor wants one last sentence for the app that doesn't roast me but assures everyone this. Won't be a nightly billboard. Post. We cleared the garage so our work van parks behind the sidewalk line every night. The dash cam light is off. We won't park by the mailboxes or curb sleep without a pass. If you ever see the van where it shouldn't be, text me and I'll move it immediately. That's the end of the argument. I'll post that. I'll also bring a trash bag to the cluster on Tuesdays because those flyers blow around. Community points never hurt. And they remind people you're a neighbor, not a logo. Later that evening, 9:58 p.m., the van eases onto the slab. Tires kiss the painter's tape, a mirror folds, the blue status eye is dead. The sidewalk line is clear from corner to corner. The cluster ramp sits wide and quiet. A jogger passes at 10:07 without stepping sideways. At dawn, the carrier pulls to the cluster without a honk. By noon, the neon sticker's edge lifts in the sun and a hand peels it off, leaving behind a square of calm where worry lived yesterday.